Very good. Rolling. All right. Good morning. Appreciate everybody being here today. Coming off Saturday, much like I said in post game, disappointing outcome, disappointing performance. Really all three phases. Had elements, just opportunities, but obviously not the results necessary to be able to achieve success. And Carolina did a good job in their game plan and their execution, and won the game. In really all three phases for what we needed, what we set out to accomplish, and just did not play or coach well enough in that game to be victorious. And so, obviously with that, you continue to evaluate, learn, work to grow. I mean, we still have 3 games left in the season, and you have opportunity to go and get better. And that is my sole purpose, my sole focus is for everything that we have, for these players that I get to coach, to go pour everything I have into them, to make sure that we are taking the positive strides and steps to improvement. And each individual has ownership of action. Each individual has to make the choice of the investment of what's being poured in, and then obviously the application of the whether it's the things we're asking guys to do in practice, or whether it's application of schemes, of the application of things that are necessary for us to go play complementary football to achieve victory. And we've not done that throughout the course of this season, and we've had plenty of circumstances that have showed up. That was 8th different starting offensive line lineup that we've had in 9 games. We had two more starters that were out, which definitely had an effect. But it's ultimately opportunities for other guys, young guys, to get their chance to show, and to be able to go out there and compete, to put their best on display. And we just have not been consistent enough across the board, on really either side of the ball for what is expected and what we need to be. And so all of our focus and work goes into to today. And obviously we came back, we practiced yesterday, we went to work, jumping into this week. We have to go on the road against another really good opponent, and we're going to go put everything that we have into putting ourselves in the best position to achieve success this week. And that is our focus as a team, and focus of every individual part of the program.
All right, first question will be Ira, second row on your right.
It seemed like in some of these games, particularly the Miami game, it felt like the defense kind of gave you guys a chance to try to figure things out in offense. This week, it seemed like both sides of the ball kind of faltered. Do you think that the offensive struggles are now taking their toll on how the defense is playing?
No. I mean, everybody's, each side of the ball is independent of itself. We've not played good complementary football, throughout the course of the year. And you go back and you look at it, our success after offensive scoring drives has been really, really poor. I mean, we haven't gotten, 3 and outs. We haven't, we've given up scoring drives, as a result after an offensive score, which, obviously you need to be able to, in those moments, try to build upon the momentum. After a team scores, we have not responded well, offensively like we need to. And so, when you look at it, we just haven't been able to build upon, the momentum on either side when we've had opportunities to make plays. I mean, there was 3 different times where I thought we had a chance to intercept a pass on Saturday, and there was multiple times where on third downs that we had a chance to be able to get off the field, and we did not make the play or execute there in the moment for in critical situations for what was necessary. And I don't think that one side of the ball has something to do with the other, because ultimately it's just you got to go out there and you got to play the game, and everybody's performance is theirs, and you got to own it. And there were some good moments for individuals. There were some positive things that you can draw from it throughout the contest, but then there were some things that are unacceptable, and that we have to be better at, and just you have to take ownership of what the action was, whether it was a play call, whether it was something that you did as a player on the field that was not to the best of your ability. And sometimes as a technique, a fundamental, an opportunity to make a play to finish in the moment, and that's what we all have to own, and we have to go and grow and be better, and that's the focus.
All right, next will be Brendan, front row on your left.
With the amount of young players that you've played this season, I guess how important is it going to be for the future of the program to, one, continue to get solid, constructive reps with them, but then twofold, to be able to retain them and keep building with them for the future?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's every play, every day, every practice, is critical for each player on our team. But I mean, especially those young guys that are getting opportunities, in game. It's just, you got to be able to build upon it. And I think these guys have done a nice job in their approach and how they've come to practice, how they've come to work, and trying to understand the areas that maybe they need a bigger emphasis in their growth, and some of it's just gonna be physical, mental, just to continuing to adjust to the speed of what you see on a Saturday. But I am excited about that young group, and you look at really the last two classes, those guys that are either freshmen, redshirt freshmen, or the true sophomores. I mean, we got a lot of really good football players in that group, and those are going to be guys that I absolutely believe, as I spoke on Saturday, they're going to be a part of our response as a program for what we're going to do and what we're going to be able to accomplish. And everybody's at a different place in their journey, and some of those guys are playing a lot. Some of those guys have yet to play, but really excited about those two groups of what we were able to put together in those classes, and it's critical for their continued development, that they just every day stay focused on what they can control, and maximizing the opportunities that they do get.
All right, stay there for Chris.
From a purely physical standpoint, was Saturday up to the standard you want? And with Notre Dame, how much of a challenge is that? Because obviously they play pretty hard-nosed football.
No, I mean, there were times in the game where I did not like the physicality that we put on display, and I think there were some good moments. There were times that we were playing very physical, but had maybe a lapse in judgment of whether it was a gap to fit, or where maybe trying to do too much that opened up a seam or an opportunity for our opponent. But there were definitely plays that, going back and seeing them on Saturday, that I was displeased with, and then obviously going back and watching it on film, it's that's where we are in control of that, and and for each player, and I told the team yesterday, I mean, there is an expectation of what it needs to look like, and you're making sure that you put everything that you have into each play, even if it is after a negative. There's going to be times you might get beat on a play. You might have something that you didn't desire, you didn't want, happen to you, but Lord willing, you get one more play. What's it going to look like, and how are you going to respond in that situation? And there is. I know we talked a little bit after the game about just the confidence of some of our players, and really in some aspects just our team, and it's been a challenging year in a lot of ways when it comes to that. And these guys they deal with a lot of different things, externally, internally, within their own mind of what they want it to look like, and at times when it doesn't, that's where you got to stay true to who you are. You got to stay true to what you believe, and just put everything that you have into just going to control the next thing that you can, and that's the next rep, that's the next play, the next practice, the day that you have, of putting everything in and just going to get better. And I do think there's been times where that's been shaken a little bit, and just to say pullback, hesitation, and it's that's shown. I think that hesitation has shown up in not wanting to have the negative, or not wanting to have that experience, and that's where you have to just move past that, and nobody's in a place where we want to be right now, but you get an opportunity to go play this game, you get an opportunity to go compete, you get an opportunity to go and get better, and that's what I obviously I'm demanding and expecting to see in all things that we're doing.
All right, we'll go to Jordan on the third row.
Coach, a two-part question. You only had 8 completions against UNC, only 11 against Miami the week before. Are there ways that you guys can scheme up easier completions to get the pass game going? And then along with that, are you still confident in running the 2-quarterback system throughout the rest of the season?
Obviously that's, our completions, being able to have some balance in what we're doing and, being able to, get the passing game going. I mean, there's a lot of different elements that have showed up, that's kind of limited that here the last couple of weeks, there's been times where, it's been, lack of separation, in routes or, just some of the finer details of what we're trying to do when it comes to spacing and getting the ball out. There's been protection issues. There's been times that we've not been on time where we need to be, or maybe our eyes haven't been exactly where they need to be when it comes to just the efficiency of the passing game, and we all get to take a part of that. And obviously as coaches, it's our job to put guys in a position to be able to go and to be able to get in rhythm and to be able to go out there and be able to execute. And with quarterbacks, that's I think both those guys have shown moments and flashes of potential. And like I said, last week, Luke was limited and really a little unknown certainty of just availability for the game, and so that was a part of of his week. But I think Brock did some good things in the game, and vertically pushing the ball down the field. There's obviously some plays that he'd like to have back in the game, and some missed opportunities, and obviously Luke, he had his. There's some challenging moments for him, and a couple of really good moments. And so for those guys, it's there's a lot of different factors when it comes to our offense that where they can be better, where they can obviously continue to grow, and then the people surrounding them have to continue to help support that and help that position. We get an opportunity and be able to have balance in the run game. Be getting that established will obviously open up more opportunities there in the passing game. And but yeah, it's for sure something that we need to be more efficient in our passing game.
I'll go back to your right for Ira.
You mentioned that you've been evaluating things and trying to figure out, not just focus on now, but also look ahead to the future. But what would you say to the fans who maybe have already bought tickets for these last few games at home, but it's still an expense and it's still an effort to come up here and to buy tickets in packages for next year, because they don't know what your plans are. Like, how do you expect them to believe that you're going to make changes or do whatever you're going to do when they can't see it yet?
Yeah, because everything we're doing right now is to give our players this year for the games that they're coming to here at our next 2 home games is to do everything we can to go put ourselves in a position to win, to be successful, to pour into these players, to give them an opportunity to go put on display the best of who they are and what they're about. And I do believe in that group, and it's been a really tough season, and I mean, like I said, for our fan base, I mean, I understand the frustration. I mean, there's no fan that's more frustrated than I am. Right? There's nobody that's pouring more into what these players in this program than what our staff is. And I watch the work, and has it been good enough? No, it hasn't. We haven't had the results that any of us desire, or that what needs to be expected here. But we are going to pour all that we have into making sure for these games to finish the season, it's the best that we got. And we put ourselves in a position to go achieve success in these next 3 games. And it all starts going on the road this week. And, on the flip side of it, I am aware of, where we are, the things that have happened, some of the things that, that I'm evaluating throughout the course of the season, evaluating over the course of the last few years of, one, why did this happen? Why have we come up short? And then what are the issues and what can be done, changed, addressed, all of it that's going to allow us to take a monumental step, here this next year and for the future of the program. And, I do believe in the guys that are in that locker room, right? I do believe in the potential of what we have. We've got to do a better job of making sure that, you know, the application of the things that we work, the things that we train, the things that we do, you know, the evaluation of, you know, how the positions we're putting guys in, and, you know, sometimes the guys that, you know, that we have, you know, where can we improve that? And, you know, all those factors are going to be, I guess, you know, continue to be evaluated, and then, you know, I can tell you that there's going to be, you know, there's going to be a change in what we've seen from this year to this next year coming up. But, you know, and right now my entire focus is going to be on what's ahead for these next 3 games to go be the best we can be.
Kurt?
A few injury questions. I guess how's Justin Cryer? I know that looked pretty serious on Saturday, and then Maurice. I don't know where his status is coming into the week. If you think you might have him available again this week.
Yeah, Justin, preliminary was probably a little bit better than what I feared, you know, just being out there on the field with him. But, you know, it's going to be, you know, you hope be out this week, and, you know, we'll see what the extent of that is for the long term. But, you know, it was definitely a scary situation, you know, going out there and, you know, being with them. But, you know, there was preliminary, you know, just diagnosis and the things that we've seen is a little bit better than what, you know, what it could have been. And, you know, obviously, you know, it's still something that, you know, we'll work through with him, and, you know, as it moves forward. And then, you know, with the guys that missed the game, you know, this last week, we'll continue to evaluate, you know, them as we jump into this week, and hopefully you have an opportunity to get those guys, you know, Maurice and Rob, you know, were unavailable, you know, for the game, and then we'll see what that looks like, you know, here this week.
All right, we'll go to Corey on the second row.
Mike, when you talk about the quarterbacks, how hard is it to even evaluate how well they're playing in the game if things aren't going well around them?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, you know, to me, it's not. I mean, I'm watching them. I know what they're being asked to do. I know. You know, you see the intent. You see the things that they can control, and, you know, how they are executing that. Like they don't control receiver separation. They don't control, you know, protection all the time. You know, there are some things that, you know, in the sacks that we gave up the other day. You know, there were 2 that were on run pass reads that, you know, one could have, you know, made a better decision. Another one, you know, we didn't get any separation and didn't win a one-on-one, you know, and the quarterback held the ball and got sacked on. And so, you know, there were also, you know, a couple times where, you know, you have coverage opportunities and things that where we can move better, or, you know, just be on time and on rhythm. And then there's times we just got beat, you know, up front. And so, you know, you look for the quarterbacks of saying, all right, are you controlling the things that you can control? And, you know, there's been a lot of plays, you know, really from both those guys where they have made something happen when maybe there wasn't much there. And, you know, they've been able to create either an explosive play, or they've been able to, you know, generate a positive. And then, you know, there's still, like I said, there's times that, you know, where they get to grow and they get to be better, and they get to see the importance of maybe the efficiency of a drop, or where they're starting their eyes, or, you know, going through a progression, you know, and just, you know, all those things for a young quarterback. Those can be monumental steps for them as they build in that confidence. But, you know, it's really just, you got to control the things that you can control. And I get a, you know, pretty good evaluation of them. You don't, obviously we haven't done well offensively. So it's, you know, it's, sometimes you got to look past the immediate result to what are they being asked to do to evaluate that position. And, you know, I definitely have been proud of the work those guys have put in. And, you know, I think they're both very talented young men.
All right, we'll go to Aslan in the back right.
You mentioned your optimism overall and how you know what the team's capable of, and you see some good things in practice. So just week to week, how surprised are you at where you guys are? Or if you would have known in July that you're going to have this offensive line that was going to constantly have change and receivers that couldn't get separation, would that have made sense if you're going to be dealing with that stuff to be where you're at, or would you have faith in the talent and the coaches you have to overcome those challenges?
All right. You know, I am shocked in where we are, and it was not expected. And you know, you look at, you know, some of the results that we faced. You look at some of the circumstances that have shown up. That, you know, you go into a season and you have a picture in your mind of what things are going to look like. You know, and it's not. Like, I'm not blind to it. Like I said, I'm optimistic, but also know challenges. And I knew there was gonna be some, anybody asked me for a season, my concerns is, what was it gonna look like in the moment, maybe when things went well or when things didn't go well. And, we had a very talented group that left this past year. A lot of those guys are, showing that they were really good players in the moment, and guys that have been very productive for us, in the past, that are now in new roles and new opportunities and new supporting cast of guys that are there next to them. And I don't think we've handled the negative or the defeat well, and being able to bounce back from that. And I thought there's been a lot of times where we've had guys that have been pressing. We've had a good number of injuries. We have two of our top 3 running backs coming into the season, or we're done for the year after a couple games. I mean, we had a couple playmakers that we expected that would have good seasons. Here at last January that that are not available. And I mean, obviously the challenges that we've had on the offensive line and some of the injuries that we've had, it's hard to maintain continuity there. And it's some parts of it we just haven't been good enough. And so it really has been shocking, some of the things that have kind of evolved throughout this season as we've experienced the defeat, as we've lacked the progression of what anybody wants to see. But it is it's one of those things that I don't always have the answer on why that some of these situations or circumstances occurred. But you continue to go to work, you continue to try to put guys in the best position, and it does look different than what I anticipated. If you know all the challenges that are going to show up at the back end of it, would you do a couple things different? Would you look at a couple different schemes or things that you can plug in? I mean, yeah, of course, but that's part of going through the process of a season, and obviously it's not gone very, very well for us, and just the different elements that have showed up.
I've got time for a couple more. We'll come back to Kurt on the front row.
Looking at 2 guys, LT and Ja'Kai, who've been here, only a handful of guys who've been here the whole time. I mean, they obviously, I'm sure this isn't how they imagined their last season going. If they're still out there making plays, they seem to, be 2 of the more impactful players and really fighting each and every week. I guess what's that say about them, and how much can they be an example you point to for the younger guys of just what you're looking for?
Well, I mean, those guys care, and and I'll tell you, for as bad as our record is, and as bad as the results have been, I feel our team and the care that they have for each other, and I see it, in their work, and I see the investment of the coaches pouring into our players and trying to connect with them where they are and just help them go and work to be better. And like I said, it's not for players, for coaches, none of it hasn't translated the way that we want it to that level, but it's a willingness to continue to invest. And for those guys, and I love them. I mean, they came in that first class, and they've been a huge part in helping the positive, winning 19 games in a row, winning an ACC championship, and all of that. And even through the negative of what is now their senior year of a result, they are pouring their hearts into this program. They're pouring their hearts into each other, and it's a great example for those young players. And it's something that being a part of a team is special. And sometimes when you face the disappointing results, you get to show just the amount of care that you have by what you're willing to continue to invest on a daily basis. And those guys have been remarkably consistent. And we've had guys that have joined the program even here a year ago. I think you look like guys like Malik, Sione. I mean, those guys. They're putting it on the line. They've only been here for a year, and in each game, in each practice, it's definitely something that I'm proud of those guys. And even though they're only going to have a year with us, they're still making that investment on a daily basis, and they're pouring into the younger players that have their career still in front of them. But every day counts, and every day and every moment matters, and those relationships are important because they're going to last them the rest of their lives.
All right, go back to Jordan, third row on your left.
Coach, you mentioned earlier making changes in the offseason. Does a new recruiting calendar with the early signing period getting moved up affect when you make those changes, or how does the beginning of the offseason like change for you now?
I mean, obviously it's, we're gonna have signing day the week after the season ends. And for us, it's every game, every day, we're recruiting, we're having those conversations with guys that are committed to us. We're having conversations with guys that we're going after. Man, we're putting everything that we have, right, into the growth for this program. Obviously, it's all going into the players that we have to finish this season, and then it's a focus on where we're going and who we're doing with moving forward. And this is I think we've got a really good group of guys that are going to be a part of that here in this next class. And obviously as we continue to identify those newcomers and those guys are going to be joining the program, it's all about having the real conversations of some of the things that they can expect and what we're going to expect out of them. And so it's all part of the process of how we're working through the end of the season and preparing for what's ahead once it's over.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.